Zealand can do it. He's not hung over. 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 Well, he's a little hung over. It was socially distanced within the bubble and responsible. I want you to know that. Well, responsible is a strong word, but within the COVID guidelines and everything in health and safety, it was. In other senses, there was Jell-O involved. New features are dropped, and I took a challenge from Miles Jacobson that I will make a video making sure that you know about all the relevant features, whether they're important or not, how they're going to affect your life as you play Football Manager 21, or how they affect your decision to get Football Manager 21. So I am in this chair, but I don't have hot cocoa or long sleeves like I promised in the last video, but I am in this chair to tell you that these features aren't really as good as the last one. We're starting to get into things that don't really matter at all. Like they're in the game, but do they matter? No. I'm always going to be honest with you. So as these things do, Football Manager tweeted out a new list of features. There's actually one thing that Miles tweeted out before. It's not necessarily a feature, but it is the final statistics for Football Manager 20. 3.4 million people played it, which means if there are not 3.4 million viewers on my next Twitch stream, I failed. Wouldn't that be a record? I feel like that would be a record. 3.4 million people played Football Manager over the life cycle of FM20, which is awesome, amazing. Could probably make a whole video about that. I'm not going to because there are more important things to talk about, but that's the largest, obviously, that's ever come for Football Manager 20. So hopefully another big year for Football Manager 21 that we can all continue to enjoy these fantastic games. And if maybe they added a little internet playability, the game would be even more popular. But it's a great game, and I'm so glad so many people are able to enjoy it. Across all platforms, over 5 million people play. That's like FM mobile and that sort of stuff. That's awesome. 5 million people. Only 7 billion to go. The actual features today, that's what we're here for. The first one on the list, this is Football Manager reaching for a feature. You can now ask your players like become more things. When you ask them to join the backroom staff, which is maybe once a save, you ask a player to join the backroom staff, which you shouldn't do because your player is very unlikely to be the best option for that backroom staff position. But if you wanted to make it super immersive, you could do it, and you can now ask them to be more specific staff roles. This is filler. It's not an actual feature. Is it technically? What's the definition of feature? I don't even know. Definition of feature. A distinctive attribute or aspect of something. Is it distinctive? No, it's not. Okay. The next one, though, is distinctive, and it is cool, and I think it and like two other things we're going to talk about today are actually good features, relevant and helpful. Combined goal and assist bonuses for players. I love tinkering with contract negotiations, even though I'll accidentally click the little in negotiation button or whatever and just submit terrible contracts. This is just a different bonus that you can offer to incentivize not just goal scoring, but assist making. I hate incentivizing just goal scoring because it makes me feel like if I was that person, I would not pass the ball. Maybe the reason your winger's not squaring it is because they want to score for their goal bonus. And as Miles Jacobson says, and he's somewhere up there watching over all of us, he's still alive. He's just a deity. That's definitely not going to help his ego. Anyways, now you can incentivize passing and scoring. Very realistic. People do this in real life all the time. Now we can do it too. Thank you. Nice little feature. Good feature. And the other one that I really like, you can now promise a player they'll become a regular starter when the man in front of them leaves. So a few years ago, last year or the year before, we got something called the playing time pathway. That's where you can say you're a squad player now, you'll be a star in 3 years. I game this all the time, so I renegotiate my contracts almost every year. So let's say 2 years from now, you're going to be a star. Their contract's going to be renewed before that. You now can cheese it in a whole different way. You can say, you will have this role once this person leaves. or you will be a regular starter once the striker in front of you is gone. My plan with this immediately is I'm going to just set it as a person who I'm never going to let go. Like somebody younger than them, so they won't complain about not getting significant playing time because the guy in front of them is still there, who I agreed 7 years ago was going to be the guy in front of them, and once he left, they were going to get regular playing time. So you can definitely trap people into your club very easily with this feature. It's a useful feature. It's something that is going to come up in every save all the time. You are going to be able to put this in a contract and lock people in and make life easier. But now it's time to talk about some of the features that are either super
small and aren't really going to affect your life or shouldn't even really count
as features. The first one, affiliates and club vision. You can now, in your reasoning, asking for affiliates. Let me back up. There are certain clubs that we've made fun of before. There's one in Belgium where you have to sign Japanese players. There's one in England, can't possibly imagine which one this is, where you have to sign the entire Portuguese national team. I know, I can't remember the name of the team either. It's Wolfsburg, something like that. If you are that club, you can go to the board and use that as a reason to get an affiliate in that country. Useful. Not really going to affect my life at all, or yours, or anybody else's, but it's now in the game, so cool. Then we've got better backroom advice. If your squad does not fit into the registration or doesn't fit the match rules, your staff is going to give you a report that tells you that's the case. Here's the thing. I am always gaming match rules and everything. I feel like this is just going to be some really annoying thing that I turn off. Take my team in Colombia that I'm currently managing, at least for the next 10 days. We're in our last season in the Copa Libertadores, and it's brilliant that it's amazing, and I can't do a Spanish accent. We'll just leave that there. Your staff is just going to continue to bother you about the fact that you need a goalkeeper on your bench. So if I play a Copa Libertadores match, I don't have a goalkeeper on my bench. But if I'm playing a domestic match, I need a goalkeeper on my bench. Something like that. Bob Higgins is going to be sitting in the back going, "You need a goalkeeper, man. I can't take it." And he's like downing a bunch of, heartburn medication because you're giving him the heartburn because the goalkeeper's not on the bench, and it's a travesty. His job sucks, and he's supposed to sit there and scream that at you. In this feature, I feel like this needs more refining. It could be very useful if they use it to keep you abreast on your Champions League registration capabilities, but the idea of my first team is kind of fluid anyways, and everybody's paying attention to the match rules and registration all the time. Maybe this will help you catch that one time that you weren't ready, but most of the time it'd be annoying to the point you probably turn it off, and then it won't help you catch that, one time. So good for them. There's one that's actually right in line with something that I mentioned in the 5 things that we need the Football Manager 21. It hits one of them. It's an expansion on the TV production value of the actual match day. They think they need to go a lot farther. I think they need to add production. I want to be living in Sunderland till I die when I'm playing Football Manager. I want to be living in that production value all of the time, but at least in the match, they now have this thing that pops up for goals instead of across the top. It'll be some sort of TV production wipe. Troy, that's they have because they sponsor Watford, right? So it's Troy Deeney, goal, 10th of the season, yay. This is a small part of a larger emphasis on TV production. So while I really appreciate that larger emphasis, this is kind of a filler feature just to get the tweet out. But it's nice to see that they watch the videos and but it's nice to see that we're at least thinking in the same wavelength. They are also thinking this should be a strong emphasis. This feature is really small, but it is part of a large goal that is awesome. And I look forward to more tiny features like this, hopefully building up a complete TV production display in Football Manager 21 that they obviously have emphasized with a couple of small things so far. And that brings us to the rise of Zealand ball. It's a hard knock style of 4-3-3, short passing, high tempo, high pressure, high up the field. This is Zealand ball we're talking about here. This is how we like to play the game. When I become the greatest in real life coach of all time, which is obviously the trajectory that we're on right now, Zealand ball is going to exist. And until that time, at least it can exist in Football Manager, because now Football Manager has the media, super immersive media, now that they've completely redone the interactions with everybody. The media will coin the phrase blank ball. Miles Jacobson got very cheeky with this. Every club would be playing Jacobson ball. Instant pathway to success. weird emoji face. Now, while Football Manager's social team does a great job with the emojis, this emoji makes me uncomfortable, and I feel like I'm not alone. We'll lay that to the side. This is largely a completely useless feature. But the memes in this feature of them creating a style off of your name that they're then going to ask you about and use in social media and in the papers and players, and it'll be a thing that you talk about if you're successful with a certain style, the meme potential is fantastic. And for that alone, A+. I haven't been grading the rest of them. Wonderful feature. Long live the memes. Those are the features that have been released today. You can understand why I started this video going, well, they're not exactly as strong. We're getting into a little bit more of the minutia. Features that I do want to see, they said they're going to tweet out some more in a week. I want to see more on the recruitment meetings and those sorts of things. I feel like we've gotten a lot on the production and interaction and the small pieces in that. I think it's the next feature dump is going to be a lot about the recruitment meeting. So I'm really looking forward to that. And in the meantime, I am going to go put an IV in my arm, drink some Pedialyte, get something in my stomach, and watch Netflix for the rest of the day. And I recommend you do the same. I will see you on stream. Have a wonderful day.